Images of people sowing paddy in ankle-deep muddy water pop up when we talk about rain. Paddy sowing starts from middle of June and goes on till middle of July in most rice-producing states. But this year, erratic and uneven rains have delayed the sowing of rice in some parts of North India, including in the key rice-producing states of UP and Punjab. And with food inflation accelerating the retail inflation rate in June to 4.81% from a 25-month low of 4.25% in May, the government had its task cut out. It decided to put a ban on the export of non-Basmati rice. The government said that the ban was imposed to ensure adequate availability of non-Basmati white rice in the Indian market and to curb the rise in prices in the domestic market. The government also said that there was an 11.5% increase in the retail prices of rice over 12 months. Experts, meanwhile, pointed out one more reason that the government did not. That was the upcoming general elections. But while the government tried to ensure the availability of rice at affordable prices in the country, its move left the world in a lurch. But why? Because India is the top exporter of rice in the world. It accounts for more than 40% of the world's rice exports and supplies grain to at least 140 countries. In a similar move, in September last year, India banned the export of broken rice and imposed a 20% duty on exports of various grades of rice to bring domestic prices down after below-average monsoon. This time, however, India has said that they will still allow for some exports if a country reaches out about their food security concerns. India, which is also the world's largest wheat producer, had also banned its export in May last year. It had come at a time when Russia's attack on Ukraine had created a shortage of wheat across the world. The ban on wheat export is still in force. In May this year, the government ruled out lifting the ban. So, do farm export bans hurt farmers?
The last year it was wheat, this time it is rice. Rice, again, the production was slightly impacted last year because of low rains in eastern part of the country. Global rice prices have moved up. And this time, just ahead of the harvest of rice, the prices have started moving up because there were a lot of demand coming in from multiple sources. Now, all of a sudden, as the harvest is expected to come in next 2 months, you have a clamp down on rice exports because you said the inflation is moving up, cereal prices are moving up. Cereal, wheat and rice are very highly sensitive and mass consumed commodity. Obviously, it hurts the farmer. You are giving such a wrong signal to the farmer that please don't go for these crops or please don't expect a return on these crops because as soon as the prices of these move up, even slightly, the government will come down and clamp on them. After such a long time, they were getting a price which was higher than the MSP. Yes, agreed, it was impacting food inflation, but then always impacting food inflation in a commodity which has seldom moved up is slightly difficult to adjust. The same thing is happening with rice.
Meanwhile, news agency PTI reported that the government has discontinued the sale of wheat and rice to states under Open Market Sale Scheme or OMSS, with effect from June 13 to maintain what it said was adequate buffer stock to control the price rise.
So the basic purpose of keeping a buffer or a strategic reserve is that whenever you have to have a bare minimum level of food grain in the country to sustain the population, to sustain your welfare programs, which in this case is the National Food Security Act. Quarterly buffer norms are fixed in the country. In July 1, we should have 13.5 million tons of rice in our central pool to meet the bare minimum need of running the PDS. What we have on ground or in hand is almost 40 million tons of rice. But when the buffer exceeds a certain level, you keep the bare minimum in every quarter. You don't let the bare minimum go down. But to keep, which is far excess of your bare minimum, just to ensure that you control the market, it does not make sense anymore.
So, is there a way out? What could be the alternatives to an export ban to balance inflation targeting along with farmers' interests?
Instead of having a ban, you can have a export a kind of for the farmers, for the traders and the farmers, a kind of tax 20% or something on export price, so that some may not export instead of outright banning.
Alternative to this is that you keep a duty differential, means you put a export duty on that. In that way, you earn also something instead of bans, is that having an MEP, the minimum export price. So there is a ceiling that anything beyond that minimum export price, you are not allowed to export. So in case of rice, if you would have said that any rice which is priced above $1,200 per ton in the global market won't be allowed to be exported, what would have happened is that all the low priced rice which you need for your feeding, which you need for inflation control, would have stayed in the country, and anything which is more than that would have moved out of the country.
Experts believe that the move to ban the export of food grains is harmful to farmers who are already facing a crisis in the face of changing climatic conditions. Instead of a total ban, they suggest that taxation can be expanded on exports so that neither the farmers nor the traders lose out during profitable times.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
He's about to land his dream job. Business Standard.